Following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys!
This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Savannah Humoller, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And here we are. It's a fabulous Monday here in the SWBC podcast studio. Time for another edition of Mick Shots.
Mm-hmm. What an edition it will be.
It should be a rocking edition of Mick Shots.
Get your finger ready there, Christopher, for the rant. The Mick rant.
You think Mickey's going to have a rant today?
Silence things.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Well. Where do we start on this one?
It's unbelievable. I thought I'd seen just about everything you could see with the Cowboys playing in Philadelphia. And now I've seen some more.
Let's get your microphone up closer to your mouth so we can hear them.
Are you hearing me?
There you go. Well, it's kind of falling away.
It's wonky. There was a lot of things that fell away last night. I mean, we talked about it going into the game, about what happened in the 87 game when Randall Cunningham faked the kneel down and threw a touchdown pass even though the Eagles had won the ball. We talked about the 89 game, the second game of the Bounty Bowl game. Talked about in 91, Kelvin Martin returning a punt for a touchdown.
Broke their hearts.
To break their hearts and clinch the Cowboys deal.
Yes.
Talked about the snowballs in 89. And
talk about Emmett on Halloween.
We talked about load left. Talked about
which, by the way, load left these days. Every coach goes for it on fourth and one at their own 29.
Yeah.
Switzer was just ahead of his time.
I pointed out. I think it was in the New York Post or Daily News. They had a picture of Jerry and Switzer side by side, and it said "Dumb and Dumber."
That was when the movie. That was when the movie was out.
And then, the load left. And the one year, I think it was 95, maybe, Darren Woodson sealed the deal with an interception for a touchdown. No, that was 94. So, yeah, I've seen a lot, but I don't think I've ever seen, and you guys will appreciate this, when the fourth down pass was incomplete and Philadelphia got the ball with, I think it was 1:17 left. Shut my laptop. It was like, all right, time to pack up. This is
You
over.
were done, huh?
Yeah. I was done. And then they get the ball back with 46 seconds.
You knew they had 3 timeouts.
I know. I saw it. But I said, what are the chances the defense is going to stop them 3 and out? Like, they're going to run the ball and get a first down.
They almost got a fumble recovery.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, my God.
And so I got reminded.
It was almost Joe Pisarcik back.
I got reminded of what I did when I got in the plane and I opened my laptop and I didn't, click off what I was watching, right? So the freeze frame was 28-23, 1:17 left. The Eagles had the ball, and that was frozen on the screen, right? And I go, who would have thought that in 46 seconds they can go almost 86 yards for a touchdown? It's unbelievable. Just unbelievable, the things that happened once they got to the 6-yard line.
Speaking of that, the 4th and 8. Am I the only one in America who thought field goal there?
No. I said you better go for it.
I didn't.
I
didn't think we could get back.
I didn't think they'd get the ball back.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to go for the field goal.
I didn't think they could get in the end zone.
I mean, fair.
I thought the best chances of winning the game were 2 field goals. And you're facing 4th and 8, okay? And I'm not saying I definitely would have done this, but it definitely crossed my mind. Okay, you've got a field goal kicker who's made 19 out of 19. It's a 47-yard field goal. You got a minute 17 left with 3 timeouts. You don't even have to kick an onside kick. You kick it deep, and you do exactly what happened after the incompletion. You stop them 3, and now you don't have to score a touchdown. All you got to do is get back in field goal range.
Right.
I had no
but in this day and age, everybody goes for it on 4th down, so doesn't even enter the mind of people
Well,
anymore.
that's analytics, right?
Just like on the Schoonmaker touchdown, that was decided prior to that drive because analytics say you go for it every single fourth down and you go for the touchdown because with 10 minutes left, with the 10 minutes left in the game, you don't have enough time to get the ball back once. Well, they got it back 3 times after that.
So go ahead, start with your catch.
That was more of a red right there. Bill had a red.
No, but again, on the field goal, I'm not saying I necessarily would have made that decision, but it crossed my mind. Okay.
It did cross mine too, but
now the other part of that is if they kick the field goal to get it down to 2 points, Philadelphia plays it different when they get the ball back because they know a field goal beats them, and so they actually try to get a first down. So it's not like the game plays out the same way.
Right.
So, all right. Go to Schoonmaker?
Might as well.
Okay.
Because after the game, if one guy said it, 5 guys said it, boy, this is a game of inches.
Mm-hmm.
That is just the thing of this game that everyone has been saying.
I mean, how wide's your knee? Maybe 6 inches, 8 inches at the most?
Well, it's where the ball is.
I'm going to get you going on that, by the way.
Okay.
Because if you're a running back, right, and you fumble, if your knee's down, play's over, right? That's what they judge if it's a fumble or not.
Mm-hmm.
But Bill's going to explain to you what constitute a catch.
Well, I just decided I'm going to look up in the rule book what is a completed pass in the NFL, and I'll get past the elementary stuff here and go to, okay, it's a completed catch if A, the player secures control of the ball in his hands or arms prior to the ball touching the ground, and, not or, but and B, touches the ground inbounds with both feet or with any part of the body other than his hands, and, not or, but and C, after A and B have been fulfilled, performs any act common to the game, tuck the ball away, extend it forward, take an additional step, turn upfield, or avoid or ward off an opponent, or he maintains control of the ball long enough to do so. You have to complete all 3 of those.
Okay.
And so for a completed catch, in this case, Schoonmaker does not complete that catch until he secures the ball, tucks it away, which is against the ground. And if that ball squirted out when he hit the ground, then it is an incomplete pass. After he does that, the ball is not just barely touching the goal line, it is all across the goal line, the plane of the goal line, okay? It's sitting on the goal line right there. So my question is, when is that a catch? Is it when the ball first touches him and his knee is down and clearly the ball is not to the goal line, as when you break it down frame by frame, like they do on replay, and they just stop it there and don't show you what happened the rest of the play? Or is it a catch after what the rule states, that you fall to the ground and you tuck the ball away? He didn't tuck the ball away until he hit the ground. And had the ball squirted out, it was incomplete pass.
Correct.
But we changed the rules when we go to replay. We changed the rules, and it's like when the ball first touches your body, now that is when the catch was made.
Mm-hmm.
They judged it like he was a running back. Like the running back, your knee hits the ground, and where's the ball?
Yeah.
Not where you finish falling. Right?
Or when you completed the catch.
Yeah, right, exactly.
They didn't judge it where you completed the catch.
And we're talking 6 inches, and they changed it.
But the competition committee needs to clarify this, and they can take that play right there, and it is you don't review when you review it, it is where you completed the catch, not where you first touched the football.
Right, and because had that ball come out, it would have been incomplete.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
And they would have said, well, he didn't go to the ground completely. But see, that's what happened at this game.
How did the coach look at it? How did McCarthy look at it? I'm sure
he didn't. I don't think he argued it.
Yeah.
Because it was so bang bang, and even though they showed it up on the big screen 1,000 times to get everybody riled up, right? And Dak thought it was an amazing play by Schoonmaker. It was a quick boom, boom, throw it out there,
Yeah.
and he did what he was supposed to do because
Good
somebody
catch.
was questioning, well,
Did he run the route deep enough?
Yeah,
And
right.
well, his feet were in the end zone.
Yeah,
And
it's just kind of where he came down.
which was in the end zone.
Right. The knee,
In
the
the
one
end
knee,
zone.
right?
Right. And
Yeah.
the knee was down, and when he completed the catch, it was in the end zone.
So yeah, they
Now that we
didn't.
got that clear.
They didn't make a big deal out of that, and
No one talked to the referees about it.
I don't think they did.
Because y'all scared of the referees.
Plus the
as media, y'all are really afraid of those
Oh
referees.
no, you got,
The way you told me it happened like last year.
you got to request. You got to request a pool reporter to go in and ask questions. And the pool reporter would have been from Philadelphia.
And they sit in there smoking
Oh,
cigarettes and
great.
cigars with drinks in their hands.
Yeah.
So
Waiting
do you
on
think?
you guys to come
and
in like
staring
some little
daggers.
punks?
Let
Yeah,
me
like
ask
some
you
little
this:
punks coming in.
Do you think the official was influenced by the Eagles bench on
come on,
when
man.
they picked up the flag on the Michael Gallup
Right.
hands to the
Right.
face?
Had to be.
Do you think
They never
you think
folded.
if that happens on the Cowboys sideline that flag gets
They
picked
never
up?
They
explained.
picked it up.
They never explained.
They never did pick it
That's
up.
because they were ranting and
Never
raving
explained
on
why
that
they
Eagles
picked it up.
sideline when they saw the
came-
flag going.
They came to, and he just said, "There's no penalty." That's
Yeah.
all he said.
Yeah.
I didn't realize what had happened because we never got a replay on it, or I didn't see.
You didn't
a
where you
replay.
were.
So I didn't see the hands to the face,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then the other one, and so every time they did the replay, it was always on Philadelphia's sideline, right? The uncatchable ball, they called interference on Gilmore.
Yeah.
The ball
Yeah.
was 5
Yeah.
yards out of
Horrible,
bounds.
Horrible.
One guy, the back judge, has to come in and say, "You need to pick that flag up. That ball wasn't catchable," and they never did it. It's like,
So do we know who these guys are? Do we know this crew?
well, I can tell you what their
Are they? Because
last names
we've
are.
had some
Give
we've had
us
some
the
run-ins
key.
with some referees, and I think we need to start calling them out by name.
And then there was the one on Micah Parsons that they didn't call.
Yeah, the
Oh
whole.
my goodness! The man you couldn't see the man hanging off of his waistline.
Exactly.
Well, and the other one, the guy grabbed it from behind.
Yeah, that's
He
the one.
piggybacked him.
Yeah, that's the one. As the running back, clearly outflanked him because he had someone hanging on his waistline. It's crazy, man.
It's like, and it should never be, none of this home field advantage.
I gotta say,
BS.
I saw. They called the holding on us, right? The tight end.
Oh, yes.
He had the guy-
Schoonmaker.
Yeah.
He had him inside.
Yeah.
The next series, Philly had the ball. The guy did the same thing to us. Same block.
Right.
Same block. He had him inside. Their running back goes by. Nobody calls anything. The exact same positioning inside the shoulder pads above the breast area. They didn't call it. No,
And he
not
had that guy blocked.
that was
until
that
the
was a
guy
bad
turned-
call. That was
turned
a
to
bad
run,
call.
right?
That was a bad call.
And that was a, 20-some yard run?
18-yard first down run,
Yeah.
and
I
so
was
it was
thinking of-
first and 20 instead. And
On that play, I was thinking of Nate because he's always ranting about get Dottle the ball, get Dottle the ball, and they got
him the ball,
and he made a
18
big
yards,
run.
and they
Yeah.
And then they ended up punting on that possession, didn't they? Yeah. So there's that. There was the 2-point conversion that Dak's toes. How long are your toes? Maybe 3 inches. Just stepped on the line, and he was like afterwards. He goes, I know I'm not very fast, and I thought the guy had the angle on me.
Yeah.
He goes, but after I looked at it, he goes, I should have
He
just
did not
kept,
have the angle
just
on it.
kept running
Yeah.
instead of diving. He didn't need to plant and dive. He didn't need to.
If I had a rod put through my leg, I don't know,
Yeah,
how
if-
freely I would be
right.
thinking about running towards the pylon.
Or how about
big
trying
old-
to dive for the end zone and
Yeah.
get a helicopter?
with a right.
That was something.
It's like, no, do not do that, right? But so it was like, and they all kept talking about it's a game of inches, and they were right. It was a game of inches. If you think about the other thing that happened on, I think it was the last 2 Philadelphia touchdowns, they started at the 40-yard line. They only had to go 60. The best kicker in the league kicks the ball out of bounds for the first time in his career, right? But it dribbles out of bounds, and fortunately for Philadelphia, the guy that touched it had 1 foot out of bounds, so he's allowed to go ahead and do
Right.
that.
That's
Right?
not just fortunate. He's coached that way.
Yeah,
to
I
do
think that. I don't think that guy knew what he was doing.
He did not know what he was doing.
No, it just
he went over
happened
there
that way.
and he was thinking,
Bill.
You
"Oh
talked
crap!"
you talked to Bones Fossil, and you asked him today.
Oh, I know they
No,
coached that.
guy was over
That
like,
guy
"Oh
did not.
crap!
Yeah.
I think this touched my
Like,
leg."
I got to get the ball.
Foot is going
Why
out.
would he even run over there? You know, I mean,
And I
leave
know,
it alone.
and
Yeah.
I know what Aubrey did. The wind was coming. He was kicking it into the wind, and there's that open spot in the stadium there where the wind comes in, and the flags were really blowing hard. And I think he tried to overkick it. Like, I'm kicking into the wind. I got to give it a little extra. And then he just line drives it to the left. So they only got to go 60 yards, and they get a touchdown. And then the other one, they started.
But that was in the first half. That one
That
was the first half one.
Okay.
And then the other one you're about to talk about is the opening kickoff of the second half.
second half.
For Sean Evans.
Well, it's a touchback, and he gets called for face masking. How does that happen? It's a touchback. And they start at the 40 and drove and scored, right?
Right. That's where the Eagles took control of the game, was in
Right.
the third quarter with a 60-yard drive
Yeah.
for the 1 touchdown. And then the Cowboys, after the Rico Dowdle 18-yard run and the hold on Schoonmaker,
Bad
pushed them back.
call.
They should have been first down at the 27-yard line, the plus 27. Instead, they're first and 20 at their own 45. That was a 28-yard penalty right there.
And then
And then they wound up punting, and then the Eagles go 87 yards in 11 plays for the touchdown.
And that made it 28.
And that
right?
made it 28-17, which set the stage for.
And that was the pass interference, the ball way out of bounds on Gilmore
Mm-hmm.
during that drive. So that got the ball from the Philadelphia 42 to the Dallas 41. And then they got a defensive holding on Wilson. So the Cowboys had, during that drive, Hankins in the neutral zone, interference, and Donovan Wilson with a hold.
So they had Dallas had 3 penalties on the defense on that drive, allowing them to go 87 yards, and they completed a 3-yard touchdown pass to A.J. Brown to make it 28-17. Last possession of the game, the Cowboys start at their own 15. That would have been an 85-yard touchdown drive that would have mirrored that with 3 penalties against the Eagles, but the Cowboys get down at the 6-yard line with 1st and 5 at the 6-yard line and go 21 yards backwards. So you can break it down to that as well, that the Eagles converted for a touchdown when they got down inside the 5-yard line after benefiting from 3 defensive penalties, and the Cowboys were unable to
What was
convert.
wrong with the alignment? What was wrong with the formation itself?
No, that was the series before. They ended up scoring anyway. When they
Okay.
called Chuma for illegal alignment.
And they said that
Illegal
he went to
formation.
the ref
Illegal
and did
formation.
report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did report.
That's what.
That's right. He
That's
did
Or that
report.
Dak reported to the ref.
Dak said he told the ref that he's in as a tight end. He said, I told him 2 or 3 times, and after it was over, he said, no, he's got to say it.
Okay. Okay.
So then
What?
Dak said he went to Chuma and said, did you report in? He goes, yeah, I told him. So I don't know who's,
But when he got on the sidelines, you could see that he was clearly, hey, I told him.
So is it? Do you have to report to the referee, or can you report to any official?
That part I don't know. I think it's the referee because he usually
So maybe
announces.
Chuma went
another
to
official.
someone with black and
Yeah.
white stripes on it.
Because they
Wasn't a
usually
referee.
say number 71 is reporting in
Right.
as a tight end.
Right.
And because when they showed the replay, they didn't they just said it was an illegal formation. They didn't say he didn't report in.
Right.
So when I saw him lined up, it's like, well, he's on the line of
Yeah.
scrimmage. There's nothing wrong. And they didn't explain that. So, yeah, there was all these little things that ended up being a mountain of things, the reason you got beat.
Okay, well, we got much more to talk about. We went beyond our normal time constraints there on the first segment of this edition
We'll
of
do that
Mick Shots.
again.
So much more to get to when we come back in a moment.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, the official roofer of the Dallas Cowboys.
How's that text line this morning?
I have to say, it's a little aggressive.
Savannah being polite. Savannah being real polite.
I'll pull some good ones.
Okay.
I'll pull some good ones here in a little bit.
All right, very good.
You know what the shame of the thing is that they nearly overcame themselves by how well they played offensively. If you look at what they did, it was 406 yards total offense to their 292, by the way. That was the most yards gained on the Eagles so far this year. Dak Prescott throws for 374 and 3 touchdowns. He had a quarterback rating of 115.2. And I don't want anybody to tell me that he can't put the team on his back, because most of what he did were not designed plays.
Not at all.
He was playing football. And I heard this on the radio, and I had to look it up when I got home. 8 times in his career, he's thrown for more than 300 yards with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. And they won every one of those games. And this time, they got beat. So 1 time in 9 times he's done that. This is the first time he's gotten beat. CeeDee Lamb had a career high last week, 158 yards receiving, had 191 in this game.
Yeah.
191. Jake Ferguson, career high, 91 yards receiving and a touchdown. Jalen Tolbert had his first NFL touchdown, and it was a great play on him in scramble mode.
Yeah.
And he cut in and then went back out and was able to catch the ball. They held Jalen Hurts to 270 yards passing. It was the least he's had, I think it was, since the first 2 games of the season. So, they did some good things.
How many yards do you have?
He had 207 passing.
Oh, 200. I thought you said 270.
No,
okay. 207. That's good. Yeah.
And
his rating was pretty good, too, I think.
the rating was good. He was 130.2 because they only threw the ball 23 times.
Right.
But, I guess when they scored, they weren't always long drives. Like I said, 2 of them were 60-yarders.
Didn't get takeaways.
And, I know, I kept thinking of that. And A.J. Brown, 7 catches for 66 yards. That's the first time in 7 games he didn't get 125. So, they did good things, and you got to win the game, and that was kind of Dak afterwards. Somebody asked him about, this was supposed to be a test, how'd you guys do? And he goes, well, I judge myself on wins, and we didn't win. So if it was a test, we didn't pass. Micah Parsons said we flunked. He said we didn't flunk, and he meant like they did against San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way I looked at it. This game to me, and I think I felt it, hopefully I said it all week, I want to win the game, but I want to see where we were. And
so you looked at it as a litmus test game.
I really did.
That's pretty funny. Did you hear that?
Dak.
They asked him if it was a litmus test.
And Dak had his quizzical look on his face like...
I haven't heard that term in a long time.
No, he hadn't heard that term at all.
At all. That's the problem. He hadn't heard it at all.
And then,
Like, what?
and then he said, I'm not sure what you're asking. And they explained it to him. He goes, I'm from Louisiana.
Right.
Well, after the game, he had finished his deal, and I finished what I had to do, and we happened to be walking towards the bus at the same time. And I said, so did you not take any chemistry classes? And he goes, nothing past like the lower level chemistry class. He goes,
Like basic
same thing.
chem.
He goes, and it's like, that math, when they got into trigonometry and all, he goes, I was out on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I said, so you never heard of, the little piece of paper, the litmus paper that you put in chemicals to test, what it is. And he goes, oh, yeah, I know what that is.
I remember now.
Yeah.
But no, I did look at it as that. I think that push come to shove, first of all, we'll see him again.
Yeah, and Micah Parsons pointed that out.
Well, we will see him again. We have half a season to go. But what I saw was a team that's not afraid to go into Philly and win. That's what I wanted to see. Can this team go in there and look like they were ready to win the game? And they were ready to come take this game. All that other stuff that was going on, they should have won the game. You're right, Savannah. All that crap that was going on, referees not knowing what's going on. I thought we showed that we could beat this team even on a bad day, because this was a bad day. We had too many penalties, too many key penalties. Of course, the calls that went against us, all that. You put all that together, and it took you that much, all of that going against us, and we still had a chance to win that game.
Like three different times in the fourth quarter.
Thank you. And then you look at the sidelines. You look at the sidelines of Philadelphia after that game. They were emotionally exhausted.
So what do you think the record will be for both of these teams when they reconvene on December 10th in Arlington?
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the schedule going forward, the Cowboys play the Giants this week, who, by the way, the news this morning is confirmed that Daniel Jones has a torn ACL, and he's out for the year.
Somebody said that's bad news.
And then at Carolina, and then home against Washington, home against Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. While the Eagles have a bye week, and then they play at Miami and home against Buffalo and San Francisco. So what will the two records be?
And there's another one in there, too.
There's 3 games. They have 3 games because they have a bye week and then 3 games.
But their next 5 were against...
But I'm talking leading into the...
Okay.
Until we play December 10th. So right now, the Eagles are 8-1. So what do you expect them to... How do you expect them to fare in these 3 games against Miami, Buffalo, and San Francisco? Are they going to win all 3?
No, I don't think so.
No way.
Most likely they will lose 1, perhaps 2.
What happens
is... And if they lose 2 of the 3... they will have a 9-3 record coming into Arlington. Well, if the Cowboys win the next 4, which they should win the next 4, they will be 9-3 going into that game.
Which is why Micah Parsons said we'll see him again in 4 weeks.
Now the problem for the Cowboys
they
is
can't have an Arizona
in
game.
December.
That's right.
In December, the Cowboys have to play Philadelphia. Basically, Philadelphia's November schedule. They got Miami, Buffalo, and Detroit in December, and so this is where the Cowboys need to make hay here.
Right.
But this is where the Cowboys need to be that team that played yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
They need to come in with that attitude, because they were ready to take this game. You know, I don't care about the mistakes and all of that. If we shore all of that up the next time we see them, it's not going to be close. That's the way I feel about this team now. Now, we can't – that team – it doesn't need to revert back to Arizona. We can't do that. We need to be a team that is as professional as they were last night. That same type of hunger, and damn the consequences. You know, and what are the odds that we're going to get so many missed calls, so many plays of inches in the upcoming games? I think we're going to be okay going back into if we have to go back into Philly again. If we have to go to the playoffs and play Philly in the playoffs, I'm not scared. I don't have a problem with that. I really don't.
How about San Francisco?
I don't have a problem with that anymore either. I think they are a different team now. Last night showed them, okay, guys, I mean, not just Dak. You know, wide receivers now who know what to do when they're down the field. They had to be working on scramble drills ever since the San Francisco game because everyone is too in tune, quarterback and wide receiver. You can just see it, not just from CeeDee Lamb. You see it from Tolbert. You saw it from Gallup. Everyone seems to know where they're going. Ferguson now, you know, he's a guy looking like Travis Kelce or somebody with that 87 on his back. So that's the kind of guys I see going forward. I hope that's all we can see.
They almost connected on that same route to Ferguson in the end zone. He was just a little too high.
Yeah.
But he had
his hands on it, but
he had the linebacker's back turned the whole bit, right?
Yeah.
That was almost the same thing. And by the way, 4 of the next 5 games are at home.
Yes.
So
That's
got to
great.
make and
We love that.
the away game is Carolina, which. What are they, like 2-6 or something?
Don't start, Spags. Don't start.
Okay, I won't.
Let's just play the game.
Arizona's won in
week by week.
too.
Yeah, let's just play the game.
Yeah. At least Carolina, they only have the number 1 pick in the draft. They don't have Joshua Dobbs playing for them.
Yeah.
By the wow, how about him? He shows
That
up.
was so
4
fun
days
to
later,
watch.
they win in game.
Who'd they end up beating?
Atlanta Falcons.
The Falcons, right?
Yeah.
The Falcons, they're very good at giving up games in the end. They're very good at that. I've seen them do some amazingly stupid things at the end of a ball game.
All right, we continue. Oh, we're going to get those text messages going
I
here
have 'em.
when we come back here on Mick Shots.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Back to Mick Shots.
Head to AT&T Stadium on Saturday, November 11th to experience Rally Day, presented by SeatGeek. Celebrate Veterans Day with a special presentation from the Color Guard and Junior ROTC Drill Team, plus a 21-gun salute. Take a tour of AT&T Stadium, get autographs from the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders and alumni. play games, head outside to Miller Lighthouse, and even play on the field. Visit AT&TStadium.com/rallydays for tickets and more information.
All right. It's
Will you be there?
Rally Day?
Yes.
I will not be there on Rally Day.
I was going to say they could meet Savannah too.
Oh, okay.
I'll do the next one.
There you go.
I'll do the next one.
There you go.
All right. You want some text?
Yeah. Before you get to your text, let me read through my text. You guys sound great. Wow. Wow, that's great. It's a game of inches. Catch, no catch. Bringing out the rule book. Wow, that guy didn't know what he was doing, but the ball winds up on the 40-yard line. Wow. Wow, but no touchdown, but he reported. Wow, another test? When are we going to win? Wow. So there's my text.
Nate in Frisco, I'm sure.
Nate in Frisco.
Now, what do you got? Try to beat that.
Let's see. I don't know if I can there, but okay. So Mike from Boston wants to know about the experiment of Jalen Tolbert and Turpin. Do we start involving them a little bit more opposed to Michael Gallup?
Yeah, everybody. I know Gallup dropped the ball, but he had two really
that one
nice
catch was really good.
Yeah.
I was like, that was a wow.
Yes. Yes.
I said wow when he made that catch through Bradbury or whatever. But I also said wow when he dropped the third down.
I mean, everybody's not perfect. Look, I tell you, one of the things I liked, and they did it, I don't know how many times, but I noticed it quite a bit. They went 4 wide. And it wasn't a running back or a tight end. It was 4 wide receivers.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, they were empty backfield at the end when they got down on the 6-yard line, and they had the false start. But they did snap the ball on that, and it looked like Dak was taking off on a quarterback draw. It was 27 seconds left in the game.
You're right.
Do you think that was the intention?
I think saw
so
that,
too.
and it occurred to me.
Every time that I see 5-yard line, empty backfield, I always think quarterback draw.
Because now you've got everybody out, right?
Right. And it looked like they were running a quarterback draw there, and which would have been, with no timeouts, that would have been taking some courage because, but you did have enough time where you could do that as an element of surprise because you can line up again with 27 seconds left.
Especially after you already threw a touchdown pass to Turpin in kind of that same situation. It was a 5-yard touchdown pass to Turpin, who, by the way, had a really good game.
His return was incredible.
Yeah.
That was just great to see.
And it shows you what starting around midfield helps to score, right? You're getting close. You don't have to drive the length of the field. That's why, if you can get past the 25-yard line on kickoffs, you've shortened the field by at least 1 first down. So, yeah. But I like that, the 4 wide. And at one time, I think they had all 5 of them out there.
And I like, from the standpoint of Turpin, man, he, like CD, is a tough dude.
Yes.
I mean, he hurt his shoulder or whatever it was on the one play, and he's back in.
I think it was his ribs.
Okay, it was ribs. It was ribs, yeah. At first, they were examining his shoulder, and the way he fell, it looked like an AC joint, whatever.
And then I think
he's tough. He gets right back out there, and he scores a touchdown moments later.
And when he caught the touchdown pass, which, by the way, got reviewed, he fell on his ribs again. But he was on the sideline, and Jim Maurer and Dr. Cooper were talking to him. And I could see he was trying to wave him off. And then they finally left, and he just walked away from him, picked up his helmet, and stood over where the offensive backups were, ready to go in. So, yeah, he is tough for a guy that's only my size.
Truly, only your size.
No, that's all he is.
Not an exaggeration.
I am not exaggerating. He's probably 5'6". I wonder if they even list him at 175. But yeah, so he had a.
You're still 175?
I don't think I'm that heavy. I just turned.
What was your playing weight?
120.
What?
120.
How often do you think he hears that question?
128.
How old were you?
I was a sophomore.
Sophomore in high school.
And you stopped after that? You stopped with sports?
The head coach, he was standing by the scale and everything, and he goes, "Oh, just get off. We're not putting that in the program."
I bet you disappointed your coach a lot.
They listed him here. Look, they listed him here, 5'7", 155.
155. There you go.
Dang, he's
I'm
fast.
Sure he's more than that.
He's fast.
Yeah, he's good.
155. Get off that scale. We're not putting that in there.
You have another text you want to go to, or
why did Mike McCarthy not challenge the spot on Philly's first series? I'm trying to find the specific
was that
play. I think it was early on.
The brotherly shove?
On the 4th and 1?
Yeah.
Usually those, you don't have enough evidence to overturn it.
You're not going to. I mean, they
just like what the Eagles were trying to do when they had the penalty after the 4th and 1 play, and they wanted and had it was a dead ball penalty when Ferguson pulled. Well, actually, who's the Eagles player? The Eagles player was it Byard who hit Ferguson?
Yes.
Yes.
And Byard pulled Prescott back, and then Ferguson pulled Byard back or whatever. So. Or Byard then goes after Ferguson.
Yeah, I wonder which one he's talking about because they gave him 2 yards on the 4th and 1.
I'm trying to look.
And then on the 4th and 3,
on.
it was a 4th and 3, and they completed a pass for 12 yards.
I think it was on the first drive when it was 4th and 2.
What did you see on the 4th and 8? The incomplete pass to Tolbert. Do you recall Tolbert's route? Tolbert won off the snap, and then the reason I bring this up, I was listening to Rich Gannon this morning on Sirius NFL Radio, and he said that Tolbert won off the ball. But there was something about the route that he didn't like that showed that they just need to be more in line, quarterback and wide receiver. Maybe.
Was it on the high throw?
It was on the 4th and 8 play at the end of the game.
He was closely guarded, and they threw the high, and he went up for it.
I can't remember exactly what Gannon said about it, but
it was to Tolbert. You said,
yeah. 4th and 8.
Pass short right to Jalen Tolbert,
right.
7 yards.
Right.
And I saw where the DB was on him, but Dak threw it kind of high.
And I think what Gannon was saying is that he won by a good yard off the route, but he didn't carry out the route properly to maintain separation.
Wasn't the ball short?
I'm thinking of the one that was high.
But but Gannon is saying that he blamed it on the receiver not running the route correctly.
Got it.
Maybe it was supposed to be a comeback.
Yeah.
No, what I saw was quarterback and wide receivers who were very much in tune to each other. It seems like he was trying to force the lot to Tolbert as well. There were a couple of times where CD was like, hey, man, this is the time to come to me. And Dak was thinking for some reason he has to get this rapport with Tolbert. And that worked out well for the most part. I saw Dak throw a couple of passes to where, I mean, if the guy didn't catch the ball, it was going to stick into his stomach anyway. I saw 2 of those that were extremely accurate and aggressive passes that the wide receivers barely had a chance to turn around, and the ball was already in their stomach.
Was one Brandon Cooks and then one was CeeDee Lamb?
That's the ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one the CD was like he had to catch it.
Yeah, exactly.
It almost hit him in his wrist and the guys were like right there. That had to be an amazingly accurate pass because there was no room for error. One receiver, one DB was on one side, one was on the other, and he stuck that in there. And that was on the double team, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
There was one series they threw the ball to several different people, and I remember under my breath saying, just throw the ball to C.D. Lamb, would you? And the next play they did, and it was a big gain, right? And it's like, don't be messing around with all this other stuff just because it's in the playbook. Just throw the ball to C.D. They can't cover him.
Michael Gallup only had 3 targets in the game. Am I right?
Yeah.
That's unusual. I mean, I'm really hoping that, like I said, he disappointed me so far this season. I was expecting a lot more from him coming up 2 years removed from his injury.
Well, Cook's only had 2 targets. 1 catch
They
for
need
7
to utilize
yards.
him a little bit more, in my opinion, as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
But guys, here's the thing: if Ferguson's going to get passes, then that's going to take away from Cooks. That's going to take away from Gallup. You know, and he had 9 catches yesterday, so it had to be at least.
Who had
Ferguson.
91 yards. I think it was 7 catches for 90.
He had to be targeted around 10 times.
Yeah, he was.
You just don't have enough balls on the field. You know, there are going to be games where the tight end
targeted 10 times.
will be targeted more than the slot receiver. So,
But at least these last few games, they were throwing the ball down the field.
Yes.
There was not any more of this horizontal offense of throwing smoke screens, throwing to Pollard in the flat.
that's coming from Dak, dude. You talked about him just playing football.
Yeah.
I talked about it before the game. Keep the tackles at bay. He's going to escape out the pocket. He's been doing it the last 2 weeks before last night. This is what he does now. He knows that this is his life now. You know, his offensive line won't be as, solid as we really thought they would be in the past. It's not happening now. He knows he's going to get pressure all the time. And thank God he's got the ability, and his receivers also, to adjust to his scrambles extremely well. That has happened the last 3 weeks. This is not a fluke. This is by design now.
All right, before we go, Everson, I want you to look at the play. This is the Tolbert play, and you tell me what you think. There's the 4th and 8 play.
That's the one.
The minute 17.
Yeah, that's the one I was
it
talking
was
about.
A high. Yeah,
that's the one I was talking about. Yeah.
So what are you thinking? I think the replay will come up there. Mm-hmm. What are you thinking on the route by Tolbert here? If you watch the replay coming up here,
I thought it was a good route. I thought the DB just played him.
Yeah.
I thought the DB played him well. He didn't shake him. I thought if you were going to do anything, that should have been another one of those balls like the same one he threw to C.D. Lamb. Mm-hmm. It should have been lower right there because the guy actually did have Tolbert did have he bodied him. He had him bodied out. It would have been a hell of a play. Mm-hmm. Regardless, because the DB just made a good play. They get paid too, Bill.
Yep.
DBs get paid too.
I just wanted to hear it because of what I heard Gannon say on the radio this morning. I wanted to get your opinion
I would put that on Dak more than anybody.
Okay.
The ball should have
been a little
bit
put it
lower.
On the receiver.
You know how that
goes. All right, Mickey, you have a parting shot?
I'm done.
Okay, I guess we're done then.
That.
Drop the mic.
All right, and I guess we'll see everybody tomorrow at noon. We're going to be looking forward to
I'll be here all week, people.
A victory week ahead with the Giants coming to town. No more
parades.
No more parades.
No more post-game celebrations.
He's full in for Cowboy season now.
Yep, we got to wait 4 months for that parade. Right?
That's right.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe then I can
say November, December, January,
February. Yeah, end of February.
4 months left.
3 months. Yeah. Okay, and we'll chat at you again tomorrow here on Mick Shots.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!